Well, that's kind of quite a difficult question to answer, because certainly in the few weeks prior to Cheltenham, I like to be a bookmaker because we do see lots of action. The offers are very good, and we try to get some business in. But certainly as the tapes go up for the Supreme Novices Hurdle, I like to be a punter. I'm a punter at heart. I think most people who are there want to back the winner of the first, and then the Champion Hurdle follows later with the Arkle, etc. It's just a fantastic place to be a punter. But I'm a bookmaker at heart, but certainly when I'm there on the Tuesday, I will be a punter as well. Is Undersir a banker? Well, the odds suggest he is, because obviously 8 to 13, that means he's more likely to win the race than not. And if you look at the style of that last run, I mean, the power, the pace, and the keen running style obviously means if it gets an easy lead, it should win. But we've got plenty, I think, of competition in the race. I think when the race starts at the Arkle, you'll see if anything takes this horse on, maybe we can get it out of its rhythm slightly. I know Joss's Hill was a horse I liked pre-jumping, pre the start of the season, but his jumping really has been pretty average so far. But it's a dirty each way race, we call it as a bookmakers here. It's a race where you could probably look for a horse, a little bit of value in the place market, maybe 8, 10 to 1, bar the front one. It could be interesting in that respect, but at the moment, no reason to suggest that Undersir won't win. But 8 to 13, do you really want to be steaming in at that kind of price? I'm a bookmaker, I'll lay it. Well, it's pointless sitting on the fence when it comes to tipping or going for horses at the festival. Certainly the Champion Hurdle is no different. For me, Hurricane Fly can't win. We're 8 to 1 at the moment. If I had my way, I'd probably push it out a little bit more. Our racing traders kept it 8 to 1, mainly because you're going to see some money on the day, some loyal money, I would have thought, for the great old hero of Cheltenham. But I just can't see how he can get his head in front of the three protagonists at the top there. Faheen, the new one, and Jeski, the defending champion. They should all really deal with Hurricane Fly, no problem at all. You've got to be imagining that the horse will be off the bridle pretty early on here. And you look at the depth of that race, it's a real top championship race. You don't really get an older horse winning. For the romantics out there, the romantics, it's going to be a fantastic win. 8 to 1 for me, no chance at all. So in a word, yes, we will be taking on Sprinter Sacre. We're currently 9 to 4. I think that's a very short price actually for a horse that hasn't really done anything on the track for the last couple of years. If you look at the depth of the race though, you'd have to imagine that the punters, the public, when we get to the Wednesday at Cheltenham, will back Sprinter Sacre, mainly because of what the horse has been before. And obviously the race isn't as stacked up as you'd like to think. Mr. Mole has been well backed recently, 8 to 1. Dodging Bullets, who disposed of Sprinter Sacre fairly easily, I thought, at Ascot, would have to come into the reckoning. Cider Grugy blotted his copybook slightly, so you'd imagine Sprinter Sacre will be well backed, but I think at around about 2 to 1 it probably will be one of the lays of the festival. And if he comes back to his former glories, that will be some effort by Henderson and the connections there to get that horse to win the champion chase. So for me, we're taking it on. Well, this is probably my shortest answer of the whole lot so far. Will anybody take Willie Mullins' crown here at the festival? The answer in a short word is no. I mean, if you just look at the depth and the kind of ammunition he's got this year, I'm not telling you anything you don't know already. It's quite dazzling, isn't it, really? He's got an array of stars. He may even have this wrapped up after day one. So even with the likes of Henderson and Nichols there, you can't imagine them really mounting a serious challenge to William Mullins this year. You just need to look in the paper or online and you can see how many fabulous runners he's got. So you can imagine he will be the champion this year without question. Will AP McCoy bow out in style? Well, I think that even if he didn't ride a winner or even a placed horse, he'd still be bowing out in style. He's already on the farewell tour now, if you like, and the class that this guy has is just there for all to see. It's a privilege for all of us to watch him, and I'd recommend that everybody just kind of watches him one more time before he's gone for good. The best we've ever seen. If you look at the rides he's got, it's a fairly deep book, but you wouldn't expect him to run rampage over Cheltenham, but he's got Carlingford Lock in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, around about 10 to 1 chance. You have to believe that horse is going to see a lot of money on the day, and what a farewell that would be. And I, for one, would certainly cheer him home. He's the best we've ever seen, as I mentioned, but even if he didn't ride a winner, I still think he'll get a standing ovation from everybody there at Cheltenham come the end of Friday. Well, we won't be ducking anyone at the festival this year. I think all of the races are competitive enough, and there's enough quality in there. The prices look right to me as well, so we certainly won't be swerving anything, and we do have a reputation actually laying some very big bets, so I'm not particularly worried. We've got some bad anti-post positions, not desperate but pretty poor. We've laid Duvan to a few punters at 16 to 1, Peace and Co at 12 to 1, so that's in the Supreme and obviously in the Triumph Hurdle. So we're not looking too pretty there. I know our racing trader, our head of racing, likes Faheen quite a lot in the Champion Hurdle, but an even money chance in a race of that quality, a top-notch race for an inexperienced horse, I'm probably slightly against him there. I think it's a little bit too short for me, but I know he thinks the horse will win, so I wouldn't imagine we'll be best price Faheen in the run-up to the Champion Hurdle. But like I say, there's so many great races. I don't think any bookmaker can really stand up and say, I'm not going to take this horse on, and we won't be ducking anything. So competitive enough for me. Faheen, I know our racing trader fancies that might be one we're not on the short side of. I think most bookmakers will have something nice lined up for punters and their customers for Cheltenham this year. We're no different here at Sportingbet. We're certainly going to have an array of offers and price boosts, etc. And we're going to be best priced many horses, I would imagine, in the run up to the festival. One of the things we do that's quite unique for our clients is that we will offer them some deposit matches and cash bonuses. So that's probably going to be the most important thing we do. So we'll be putting money in people's pockets on the first day of the festival, giving them an extra boost and giving them a little bit more leeway if they do get off to a bad start. But I certainly suggest you check out this site and our website for more details. It'll be exciting and certainly be plenty of punters to get stuck into. Well, following up from the answer to the last question, why should you bet with Sportingbet? Again, I think we'll have some fantastic prices. We certainly will have a reputation for being standout many of the top horses in the lead up to the festival. I like the idea of us laying these so-called hot pots and taking them on, so we'll certainly try and do that. We're a prestigious name. We've been in the business now for many years. We can be trusted. We're certainly going to look after our clients. You may not see us advertising as much as some of the other firms, but we really do try and engage very closely with our customers, and that's one of our strong points. So that's probably the main reasons why you should bet with us. I think we're certainly going to be there to be taken on, and we're certainly going to look to treat people fairly in the run up to the festival. No question about it. I could probably give you 50 memories right now that would qualify as my favourite, but we've got to pick one for the purpose of this, and I think what I'll do is I'll go for one of my first Cheltenhams as a bookmaker, actually, but I was there this day as a punter. A friend of mine owned a horse called Pridwell, and it was running in the 1997 Champion Hurdle, 33 to 1 chance. It ran down the field as you'd expect at that price, but that particular Champion Hurdle, if you want to see the best display of hurdling you'll ever see in your life, just check on YouTube. Absolutely brilliant. Make a Stand, it was around about 50 rated flat horse when it went to Martin Pipe. Really an overachiever. This guy obviously is a genius, we know that now. David has since taken the reins up there at Pond House, but he's got this horse to just jump out of his skin. A perfect performance if you've ever seen it. AP McCoy was on board. I think it's one of his best ever rides. 11 to 2 out to 7 to 1. Had no right to win the race, but it was simply stunning, and I suggest you check it out. It was one of the best Champion Hurdle winners I've ever seen. Probably a weak race, but Make a Stand that day was just majestic. My best bet at this year's festival, well, I'll go for one of the major races, and I'll go for day one actually. It's in the Champion Hurdle. Lots of tips flying around, lots of people suggesting they know what will win this race. I would like to go for what I believe is the solid option. I'm going to go for the new one. A good friend of mine, Gino Pletta, is one of the co-owners of the horse. It's going to be around about 7 to 2, I think, come the off. I'm sure we'll see money for Jeski and for Faheen. And I just think the new one, forget the runs at Haydock and the prep races, Teak Tough horse, will run a really good race. At 7 to 2, I think it's got a great chance of winning. I know Neil Channing, the professional punter, did a video for us, and he suggested that Jeski was the bet each way. I know that many people will suggest that Faheen is the banker, but I think the new one, really, it's quite hard to find chinks in his armour, and people say his hurling falters under pressure. I don't believe that at all. So that'll be my banker for now, the new one, 7 to 2.